Good afternoon, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, and this is your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for Saturday, June the 9th, 2012. Tropics nice and quiet in terms of tropical cyclone formation issues. Nothing in the Atlantic Basin, at least for the next 48 hours, is clearly outlined from the Hurricane Center's Tropical Outlook map. From Africa all the way over through the Caribbean and all points in between, nice and quiet. We still have this pesky area of low pressure along a stalled frontal boundary here along the Gulf Coast and areas inland in the parts of the deep south that is causing all kinds of rain and flooding issues. Isolated and concentrated, luckily, just to a small area, but if you're in that area, you might not be feeling so lucky. And we'll take a different look at that in just a minute. But the rest of the tropics nice and quiet in the Atlantic. In the Eastern Pacific, we do have 93E, that is Investigation Area 93E. They give them a number, 90 through 99, and the letter E for Eastern Pacific, and then they use those again. They recycle them, 90 through 99, and we're up to 93E for East Pacific, only a 10% chance of development, well to the south and west of the big resort areas of Mexico, including Cabo San Lucas, and we'll watch this currently in a somewhat favorable environment, but not in a big hurry to develop. Looking at the Gulf of Mexico, a different satellite perspective here, definitely a pesky wave of low pressure in here with moisture streaming into the Gulf Coast states along this stalled frontal boundary. And if we look at the map here from HPC, the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center, and I'll zoom in just a little bit, you can actually see that wave of low pressure on their map as a kink, if you will, on the isobar here, the line of equal pressure. That's just a little wave of lower air pressure where the wind changes just a little bit, the wind shift, and just a little kink there indicating a slight dent in the pressure field, enough to create that convergence where you're getting all that lift in the atmosphere. There's the stalled frontal boundary there, and this is the focusing region for all that nasty weather, rain showers, some of it very heavy, creating some flooding conditions, as I mentioned. It'll take a couple more days, but this will eventually lift out, but not tropical in nature, at least in terms of a tropical storm or a hurricane. Bad enough that it's raining as hard as it is in that region. All right, looking at the upper level winds from the University of Wisconsin. I know this is hard to see with all the different colors and wind barbs on it, but the general gist of things is the flow of the wind is still quite westerly here, very much so. A little bit of a ridge trying to build a loft over the Caribbean Sea, maybe some weaker upper level winds, but there's nothing there to take advantage of it. The rest of the Atlantic Basin shut down due to upper level winds not being favorable. However, in the Eastern Pacific, we do see the makings of an anticyclone aloft. See how the winds are spreading out clockwise in the upper atmosphere, and they're going in a fanning out direction clockwise, with the lightest winds being right over 93E. So that's what you're looking for. If you have the winds blowing all in one direction, as you see way out here, not too far south of Hawaii, that's not conducive for development. Where everything's blowing in the same direction, it tends to shred developing systems. Whereas here, we see the wind fanning out in a clockwise fashion, an anticyclone aloft. That allows that thunderstorm activity to build vertically and not be blown, like that, like a candle in one direction. Same thing in the tropics. If you have a nice area of light winds aloft, these things can blossom just as a candle needs a still room. You can't bring a hairdryer in there or a leaf blower, or that's the end of the candle, at least the flame part. Looking at the MJO, the favorable sort of fertility period of the tropics, with the subsidence areas outlined in brown, and your rising motion or convergence areas, at least in the lower atmosphere, divergence aloft in the green. Basically, green means go, generally speaking. Brown means stop. Right now, still rather unfavorable over most of the Western Hemisphere. However, next week, looks like things could change as we get a nice rising motion setting into the Atlantic Basin, the western portions of it, and the Southeast Pacific for sure. So we may see some development here in the Southeast Pacific. That white area is really strong upward motion, and we'll see. Something will probably come of this. And then it kind of loosens its grip a little bit and then makes a comeback, maybe due to the warm water here as the eastern part of the El Nino tries to strengthen. We'll have to see. So there you go. You're up to date. I'll have another one of these for you tomorrow, and we'll see what happens with 93E in the Pacific, and hopefully that unsettled weather in the Gulf of Mexico will get out of there. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. This has been your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for Saturday, not Sunday yet, June the 9th. I'll see you on Sunday.